when they incarcerate you in anything, is to shut down the body, the very clothes you're wearing, the very fact that, again, children don't even touch the skin of their mothers. All of this stuff, that, all of the conspiracy is also about shutting down the higher intelligence of your body. And then you're going to go over to, a college campus in your suit and tie and listen to some joker who himself has lived entirely in an urbanized environment talk to you about that there's no such thing as consciousness. It's demonstrably false, and you can prove it in a second if you spent more time in nature. Right. Because then you would start to understand the intimate connections between your own process of thinking, right, and the universal order, how they work together. But the mechanics of how they work together is very quiet. No matter how, no matter what you try to do in the city environment, it will not come to you, or it only will in bits. It'll only come to you spasmodically. It will never be clear enough. You have to tone down the noise and chatter of the ego. An ego means nothing more than the surface of yourself. Right? Like Wilhelm Reich, in his paradigm, ego is anything that's a skin, that's a surface. So the surface of your whole body that faces the world, registers of things around you, that's the ego. It's not a thing in the head at all. Then there's the deeper core that lies within. And so you have to kind of quieten, right, the rest of the cacophony around you and the stimuli of the world in order to then know what these professors in materialism never want you to know. They want you to live in the urbanized environment, to live in the intellect, so that you never grasp what birdsong may mean to you, what the crickets may mean to you, what the wind may mean for you, what the dawn of the dusk may mean for you, right? What the flow of a river means for you. All of that doesn't have experience. What the fuck? The wheat field, that doesn't have any experience. The oak tree, or the thrush, or the blackbird, or the raven, they're just things floating about out there. What do I care about their experience? Sure, as only I'm interested in my experience. So you live your whole life unaware that a rock has an experience, and you can commune with that rock. You can think about it. You can say, who are you? And then you can take that up to other levels, which I went into in the Disciples of Mysterium book. We're trying to do a little bit in the series as well, to get people to realize the preposterousness. You see, all you can do is point out the inconsistencies, the preposterousness of these paradigms, subjects and objects. Yeah, people, wrote accusatively and said, hey, you say in the early chapters of Disciples of Mysterium that you're subjectivists. You're a subjectivist. Does that mean that you deny the objective world? And I say no. But in order for you to even have the objective world to know about, you first have to be a subject to grasp it. And then at the moment of when you die, when you're dead, there is no objectivity anymore. So the most important event in your life after you're born is death. But at the moment of death, you die. And so what you call objectivity finishes. The subject ends his connection with the objective world. So then obviously subjectivity is what it's all about, since that's the only thing left at the moment of death. It's the subject who's experiencing it. And the experience includes the nucleation, the disappearance of the objective world. Even your body dies at that point. So there's only left the subjective. Because it's only the subjective at that, in other words, nobody can experience your death for you. The day you die, nothing else is dying around you. You're the one dying, right? Everyone else is alive. So it's your subjective experience, not theirs. So death is the most confirmation that you can have that the subjective does exist. But not in the way in which the subjective then says, oh, and I am separate and individualized, sort of differentiated from the external world. I constitute the objective world. So ultimately, yeah, the words are wrong. They are, what do you call it? Inadequate. But to a degree, you can still say, I am a self. My selfhood constitutes the world. Because my ego creates a divide between the inner world, right, which is only knowable to myself. I have unique knowledge and capacity to delve into the self. And then outside that circle of the ego is a thing called the world. It's like we were saying before, about Immanuel Kant and all these guys who talked about the limit. The limit is very, very necessary, in context to human freedom. Because if I'm inside a wall, inside a circle, I already know just by being within that circle that there's an outside of the circle. I don't even ever in my life need to see it. I don't have to even climb over the wall and look over the wall to say, oh, there's something bigger than my circle. The very fact that I know I'm in a sphere in a circle, I mean, in an enclosure, automatically implies that there's something outside that enclosure.